Maybe they're just not that confident in the mirror. Or the thing is, like, Temple Storm's kind of stuck into playing this matchup because if they decide to play Holy Pally God Comp, then Cloud9 just picks the LSD, obviously, which is like an auto loss. So
it's a big
Temple Storm's
deal.
almost forced, and they're forced into like this situation where they have to play at a disadvantage.
Yeah, it's a really big deal that Tempo Storm actually won on a Grand Arena in that blind pick, because theoretically, if it goes back and forth on each composition choice, Tempo Storm should have the advantage with comp and map pick at match point. But here we go.
Yeah.
Is it going to go that back and forth is the question, or one of these teams going to be able to take a win on someone else's comp or map choice? Sap onto Goreki, deep freeze onto Cubsy into the full polymorph. Wealthy Sock is the kill target for now, it would seem. Goreki actually getting hodged up as well. Death from above is going to chunk down Wealthy Sock down to 31% health here. Wings execution sentence used by Cubsy to try to heal up Wealthy Sock, but now Cloud9 is going to turn this around. Hodge on the Peekaboo, CC onto Elite, and it looks like Jamili's going to be completely fine with that Wings execution sentence from Elite to be able to keep his team offensive. And here we go, the hand of sacrifice from Cubsy preemptively on that blind. Did it get broken? No, he's not going to break. He's going to bop out of it for now. This was Peekaboo's dance, so that double bop is going to keep his team completely aggressive moving forward in here. Wealthy Sock actually trinketing out of that. Death from above from Peekaboo is not going to get a whole lot done, and it looks like Cloud9 is completely fine, not using all that much, but a lot of trinkets and bops being used by Cloud9 so far.
Jamili did a really good job there. Actually, Elite was caught into a full polymorph. Jamili actually getting a full invis off, but he gets back into the heat of battle, gets disarmed up by Goreki. Actually, still in a little bit of trouble having to go into that first ice block as Elite is still not out of that CC chain. Elite having every single defensive cooldown though available, ready to go. Wings coming up in around 40 seconds. Still has all of his breaks. Caught into that full frost at the moment. Team Temple Storm is trying to get some damage out onto Wealthy Sock. Cubsy caught into the full blind, actually. Goreki sitting that blind as well. Cubsy actually trinketing that blind into a full polymorph. Wealthy Man in a little bit of trouble now. Still has both his blocks available if he needs it. Just has to make sure he gets it off. Down to 15% HP. 10%. The smoke bomb comes out. The first block being forced onto Wealthy Sock.
I feel like Cloud9 might be at a disadvantage with their composition, or I'm sorry, Temple Storm might be at a disadvantage, but Cloud9 seems to be on the back foot so far, already forcing that ice block. Jamili having only just one ice block as well. Cloud9 pushing up, but Wealthy's not getting sapped up by Peekaboo. Just going to stop that momentum. Elite now put into that full fear. Jamili the kill target for now. Ice Nova is going to be landing over onto him. Cheap shot, and there's the full kidney shot onto Wealthy Sock. It would seem deep freeze onto Cubsy. They're trying to get a second ice block right here, right now, with Peekaboo's dance. Cubsy coming out of that CC, going into the half polymorph, and at 1% health, the second block is going to be used by Wealthy Sock, and Temple Storm has all the momentum they need to lock in game number 2 here in Cloud9's composition choice.
Yeah, Wealthy Man's actually in a lot of trouble. He doesn't have a block for another 2 minutes. Cubsy has only bubble available, no Avenging Wrath. So, I mean, even though he's going to be able to bubble out of CC, he has no bops available, and his healing is going to be pretty weak with that no wings available. Elite actually getting feared and polymorphed at the same time. A little bit of an overlap there by Wealthy Man and Goreki. Jamili, though, could be his second block as well. Going to that ice block. Actually gets MD'd instantly by Goreki. Jamili's still in a lot of trouble. The Save of the Light does proc on him. Elite finally out of CC, actually getting silenced up on his Word of Glory. He does have bop and bubble if he needs it. He needs the bubble. He needs to get these casts off. Jamili's still so low. Down to 10% HP, 5% HP, 1% HP.
How is he alive?
At 1% HP. He's still in trouble, though. The full polymorph out onto Elite. And what that game came down to was Elite just wanting to hold on to his bubble for too long. The MD on Jamili's block should have been, boom, bubble from Elite. And he just fell behind and he couldn't keep him up.
I don't know. Did he actually get Master Spelled out, or did he come out? Because Elite actually got MD'd on his bubble. Elite actually got MD'd on his bubble and then interrupted.
I'm almost positive that Jamili got... What's the cooldown on MD?
I don't know. I actually have no idea, but the interrupt in that Word of Glory at the very end.
He did them both.
Oh, wow.
He MD'd the bubble.
I'm just going to stick with the Rogue Mage Paladin instead. Interesting. So instead of going that God Comp and knowing that they're going to get a mirror, they go Rogue Mage Paladin. Do you think that Cloud9 would ever run LSD into God Comp, though?
Cloud9 would ever run LSD in the God Comp? I think that's what they want to do. They want to run LSD into God Comp. They're not in a position where they can do that anymore.
All right.
It's because of how the way the picks and stuff work. But we'll have to see how this opener goes. Peekaboo immediately getting that sap onto Goreki, the Garrote onto Wealthy Man. Actually getting pre-sacked, though, Wealthy Man is by Cubsy, so Cubsy not going to be put in any crowd control at the moment. Goreki getting bursted down huge, though, down to 30% HP already. The deep freeze out on the Cubsy. This could be the first of Goreki, but the fear goes out onto Peekaboo as well as Jamili. Now Jamili getting counter pressured quite hard. Elite actually deciding to trinket, immediately using that execution sentence onto Jamili, topping him off. Peekaboo taking a little bit of damage. He is caught down the stairs into that disarm. He's going to be fine, though, as he does get that feint up. And if we look at the cooldowns, Elite and Jamili had to use their trinket, and Cubsy really didn't have to use anything.
Yeah, no, he just bopped that blind off right there, and I feel like, I don't know, they had really no momentum. He's just going to go ahead and bop it, but it looks like Wealthy Man might be the kill target for Tempo Storm here moving forward into the game, but Cloud9 kind of fending off of that setup and just kind of diffusing it completely now. Wealthy Sock and Goreki pushing in to try to make something happen. Full Polymorph landing onto Elite. Blink out into the middle of the map. Deep Freeze onto Jamili. Hodge onto Peekaboo. 3v1 situation. Horrify is going to be blocked by Jamili. He's just going to go ahead and trade that up. Master Spell coming out from Goreki is going to get Jamili out of that block right away. Wings from Elite is going to keep Jamili alive for now. Bop as well. There's the blind going out onto, it looks like Kubzi and Goreki as they set up onto Wealthy Sock, dipping him down to 50% health here. Kubzi into the half polymorph is going to be broken out by that Ice Nova. Another polymorph, and he's going to block at 13% health here, and that was Wealthy Man's last ice block.
Wealthy Man actually coming out of that. He wants to get this follow-up CC onto Elite. Peekaboo there, though. Gouge onto him. He's in a smoke bomb. Wealthy Man in a lot of trouble right now. Down to 23% HP. The War Master comes out from Cubsy, spamming out those heals over and over, and Wealthy's been over-aggression almost cost Cloud9 this game. Thankfully, Cubsy was able to keep him up. Jamili now caught into the disarm, the deep freeze onto Elite right away. Peekaboo needing to stop the CC. No polymorph going to be put out onto Elite at the moment. Seems like Jamili's going to be just fine. Goreki actually dispersing offensive there. Dispersing at 100% HP, getting the fear out onto Elite as well as Peekaboo. So now Goreki caught in a situation where he doesn't have disperse. So maybe Jamili and Peekaboo able to capitalize on that a little bit later in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Wealthy Man's got to be careful moving forward into this game. He does not have another ice block available to him, and Tempo Storm is feeling quite good. Peekaboo also a bit vulnerable too. Oh, here's the setup though. Death from above is going to land onto him. Cubsy with his wings up is going to get interrupted on a cast. Saved by the light, procking for Wealthy Man. He's pulling back. He is a scared little mage. He's desperately trying to get some damage going out, trying to push these guys back. Deep Freeze lands over onto Cubsy, but Peekaboo actually getting defensively feared by Goreki is going to save him a little bit of face. Wealthy Sock catching the Hand of Sacrifice from Kubzi for now, but it's actually just going to get spell stolen right off. Now Elite being caught in the polymorph, he's going to trinket out of that as Peekaboo has no trinket, caught in the full Hodge. Whole bunch of damage coming in. Cloak is going to come as soon as he lands, or as soon as that Hodge comes off. And now they want to get set right back up onto Wealthy Sock. Kubzi in the back line getting Frostjawed. Kidney Shot goes out onto Wealthy Sock. He's been garroted as well. He can't blink out of this. There's the blink, and Kubzi's going to go ahead and bubble to trade up those offensive cooldowns. Death from above. They're still just trying to rip right through all of the healing of Kubzi, just spamming those flash of lights through that bubble. But now Cloud9 is just left completely defenseless, and I have to feel like Tempo Storm's Rogue Mage Paladin composition is doing so well against the God comp of Cloud9. There's the polymorph onto Elite. Setup goes out onto Jamili, and that's the last block for Jamili coming out now. He's going to come out of it. Death from above onto Wealthy Sock. Save the Light's going to proc. It's ripped right through as the polymorphs land onto Kubzi's trinket. Wings still up for Kubzi as he lands into that Frostjaw. Elite bubbling as well, keeping Jamili alive without any blocks available to him. And this could be anyone's game at any second. Polymorph goes out onto Peekaboo. Jamili still in a bit of trouble. Wealthy Sock completely fine at full health, but with no outs for Kubzi. This is going to be a very scary game moving forward for Cloud9.
You know, the double fear coming out from Goreki onto Jamili as well as Elite, not able to capitalize on that too much. Cubsy's Avenging Wrath going to be fading now. Elite actually has his Avenging Wrath coming up in 15 seconds. The full Deep Freeze, though, going out onto Elite. Peekaboo using a Shadow Dance. Wealthy Man could be in a lot of trouble here. Cubsy into the full sheep. This is going to be the game. Wealthy Man has to somehow live for another 15 seconds, or his Cold Snap is going to come up. He's just cutting the best he can. Peekaboo actually getting stuck down there, but the Death from above coming in from Peekaboo. Somehow Wealthy Man is alive. Cubsy actually throwing out that sacrifice on him as well. The Hodge going out onto Peekaboo. The sheep onto Elite. So Cloud9 trying to counter pressure right here. Now Wealthy Man has his Cold Snap available. He does have another Ice Block, and that should carry him through to Cubsy getting some more defensive cooldowns coming back up. Peekaboo could be in a little trouble, though. He doesn't have that Cloak of Shadows for quite some time. Does have Trinket, but Jamili is actually the target of choice. Saved by the Light proccing on him. He has a huge shield at the moment. Elite using his Avenging Wrath, throwing out a huge Holy Light onto him. Jamili's going to be just fine at the moment. Jamili also having his cold snap come back up. But Wealthy Man taking a lot of damage right now. Cubsy caught into that blind coming out from Elite. Wealthy Man pulling back, trying to just get out Sheeps down to 14% HP, forced into that block as Cubsy is caught into that full Sheep. Cubsy, though, going to have that trinket coming up in around 20 seconds. No bubble for another 3 minutes. So very, very long cooldown on that bubble. Wealthy Man still in a lot of trouble, though. The War Mastery coming out onto that Frost Shot. DR Cheap Shot going out from Peekaboo onto Cubsy. The Avenging Wrath coming out from Cubsy. Going to be able to hopefully keep up Wealthy Man. Gets full blinded on it. Doesn't have any outs. Trinket coming up in 3 seconds. Can Wealthy Man hold on? Doing his best to kite. They need to get some sort of counter pressure going on, but Temple Storm has Cloud9 on the back foot all game long. Wealthy Man finally getting some heals from Cubsy. Looks like his HP is going to stabilize, and this is what they need. Jamili now in a little bit of trouble. Might get his last block forced. Just deciding to block. Actually blocking. Gets the DR Sheep onto Cubsy. Wealthy Man in a lot of trouble right now. Cubsy does have his trinket. Not in any CC at the moment. Into the DR Garrote. Wealthy Man could just die, and he is going to go down, and Temple Storm is going to take this series 3-1. I mean, I did not expect Temple Storm to win that matchup. They played amazingly. As far as I'm concerned, they deserve to win this.
I'm going to have to agree with you, man. I mean, Rogue Mage Paladin against Holy Pally God Comp, this is not what I was expecting. But the plays coming out from both of these teams were just absolutely unbelievable. And Tempo Storm is going to take the final game of this series against Cloud9 to the very bitter end. Cloud9 is going to go down to Tempo Storm